Midsummer Night's Dream. Plato was the first person in Western literature to describe and analyze love. The Greek word for it is eros, and it has a heavy overtone of passion. Plato's focus was what is the erotic and how does it work in actual human experience. Shakespeare's play Midsummer Night's Dream shares in many of Plato's negative characterizations of love. For example, that love is a form of madness. In Midsummer Night's Dream, the enchantment of love is a form of sorcery. It literally becomes a spell in the form of a potion, a love juice. The juice of it, on sleeping eyelids laid, will make or man or woman madly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. And drop the liquor of it in her eyes, the next thing then she waking looks upon, be it lion, bear, or wolf, or bull, on meddling monkey or busy ape, she will pursue it with the soul of love. In Plato's Phaedrus, he points out that if lovers are unable to control themselves, can someone really be right in trusting themselves to one who is afflicted with the madness of love? The saying goes, I am out of my mind in love with you. Instead of focusing on the in love with you part, focus on the out of their minds part. This is what perhaps Helena should have focused on. In Act 1, Scene 1, she speaks, he hailed down oaths that he was only mine. And when this hail some heat from Hermia felt, so he dissolved, and showers of oaths did melt. In Plato's Phaedrus, Plato writes, when his love ceases, he becomes a perfidious enemy of her on whom he showered oaths and prayers and promises. And not knowing how to fulfill the oaths and promises which he made under the domination of folly, he runs away and is constrained to be a defaulter. He changes pursuit into flight, while the other is compelled to follow him with passion and imprecation, not knowing that she ought never from the first to have accepted a demented lover. Shakespeare really plays with this in Midsummer Night's Dream. He has a lot of fun with the lover in pursuit and the beloved in flight. Puck mocks the inanity of the young lovers. Shall we their fond pageant see? Lord, what fools these mortals be. Plato goes on to say, know that in the friendship of a lover, there is no real kindness. He has an appetite and wants to feed on you. As wolves love lambs, so lovers love their loves. In Shakespeare's Othello, one woman speaks of men. They are all but stomachs, and we all but food, to eat us hungrily. And when they are full, they belch us. And in this play, Hermia speaks in horror after she wakes up from a nightmare. Methought a serpent eat my heart away, and you sat smiling at his cruel prey. Another problem Plato points out in his analysis of love is that one's judgment is weakened by passion. Shakespeare writes, "And therefore is Cupid painted blind. Nor hath love's mind of any judgment taste, wings and no eyes, figure unheedy haste." Helena speaks, "Things base and vile, holding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity." Shakespeare really exaggerates this when the queen of the forest, Titania, wakes up from under the spell of love and hears the transformed weaver Bottom singing. And from the productions that I've watched, horribly out of tune and in the shape of an ass. Titania speaks, "Mine ear is much enamored of thy note, so is mine eye enthralled with thy shape, and thy fair virtues force perforce doth move me on the first view to say, to swear, I love thee." Bottom's response is, "Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that, and yet to say in truth, reason and love keep little company together nowadays." Just as the lovers will snicker at the artisans when they put on their show, Pyramus and Thisbe, we get to snicker at the ridiculous farce of love that is this play. In this theme of love's delusion, who among us, Shakespeare seems to ask, hasn't fallen for an ass and believed him or her a god? But interestingly, both Plato and Shakespeare conclude with something different. In Plato's Phaedrus, Socrates speaks, "There is also a madness which is a divine gift, and the source of the chiefest blessing granted to men. For there is inspired madness, which is a noble thing, a madness superior to a sane mind. For the one is only human, and the other of divine origin. This is the madness of those who are possessed by the muses. And he, having no touch of the muses' madness in his soul, comes to the door and thinks that he will get into the temple by the help of art? He, I say, and his poetry are not admitted. The same man disappears and is nowhere when he enters into rivalry with the madman." In Act 5 of Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare writes, "The lunatic, the lover, and the poet are of imagination all compact. One sees more devils than the vast hell can hold. That is the madman. The lover, all is frantic, sees Helen's beauty in a brow of Egypt. The poet's eye, in a fine frenzy rolling, doth glance from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven, and as imagination bodies forth the forms of things unknown, the poet's pen turns them to shapes and gives to airy nothing a local habitation and a name."